folks, we are at the Hatchet House in Arcata, and we have the owner of the Hatchet House, or are we saying part owner?
Part owner, yeah.
Okay, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm part owner, Mike Fisher. The other owner is Lauren Fisher. She's my wife. We are the husband-wife duo here at Hatchet House Throwing Club, and we've been in business. We had our 1-year anniversary in August, and 6 months of that was obviously closed for COVID. Well, maybe about 4 or 5, but so that was a bummer. But things are still going strong, and we're reopened. And we are, I think the 3rd week we've been reopened.
Oh,
and
good.
business is okay. We're really happy to see people coming out and participating and having fun. People really need this right now, I think.
Awesome. So I think a lot of people are not familiar with hatchet throwing. This is a really unique facility. Can you maybe just give us a little rundown of like what's hatchet throwing?
Yeah,
And
sure.
obviously we want to see you hit a perfect bullseye.
Of course. Well, doesn't everybody? So hatchet throwing, this was an idea that we actually borrowed. My wife and I visited a place very similar to this in San Diego, and we just thought it was an amazing idea and super novel. And we thought that, Humboldt, having the history that it does, that it would have such a cool fit, and Arcata being an awesome college town, would eat this up. And so we figured out that we wanted to do it, and here we are. We're open today. So hatchet throwing. So it's just a big game of darts, and it's a pastime, and it's a lot of fun. And we have safety protocols that we do. We are part of the World Axe Throwing League. It's a nationally recognized.
All right, Mike, can you tell us about the safety aspect again?
Absolutely. So World Axe Throwing League does have kind of a standardized way to go about axe throwing, and that covers everything from how to build a target all the way down to safety protocols, right? And so we adopted that and we've modified it to fit our facility. So that is the basis of safety in axe throwing. And
Safety on holding beer glasses?
Right, yeah. Beer is not to be held while you throw. Make sure you put it in your designated beer holder.
So can you have more than one person at a time inside this box?
Yeah, so let me just run you through how it goes. So you come into the Hatchet House and we welcome you and we run you through. First thing we do is we sign you up, and we have you sign a waiver at our front place over here, or you can do it online. There's Emily. And that waiver basically states that you are responsible for your own actions while you're in here at the Hatchet House, and along with some other things. Once those waivers are signed, we bring it to your lane with our axe coach, like Emily, and we bring it here and we run through a battery of safety protocols. They are also up here on each one of our lanes. But basically, what do you?
I don't know what a trick shot is. That's why I'm staring at it.
Okay.
But hey.
Yeah. So throw together, retrieve together. That means both axes should be down the lane in the wood or on the ground before you go to retrieve.
Okay.
You should never enter a lane when somebody else is going to throw. Right. Always clear your target after every throw. So if there's an axe in the target, before you throw another, we want you to clear it so you don't cause any damages to the axe or create any weird environment where it bounces off or something like that. No trick shots, right? No trick shots. We will teach you trick shots. A novice might want to come in and do something unique, but safety's priority 1, so we want you to figure out how to throw first, and then we'll get into some cool trick shots.
How about age? Any age limit?
We don't have an age limit. Anybody's welcome to come in and try, but for our younger throwers, we will coach the younger thrower and then monitor them and see how they throw, and then we'll make a call with the supervising adult to see if that's appropriate or not.
So we can come drop our kids here and...
Yeah, just drop your kids off and bail? No. So
okay.
Usually 7 or 8 is a good cutoff point, but we've had some pretty strong 5-year-olds come in and do the game.
Wow.
Right, so always keep your eye on your axe. Always know where this implement is at all times. When you're walking around, don't be swinging this like this and get a piece of our wood or one of your partners.
So can we see one shot for the
Sure.
for the notoriety?
Yeah, so after we go through safety, our axe coach will teach you how to throw. And throwing is pretty basic. It's a game of distance, and what you're trying to achieve is run rotation of the axe when it leaves your hand, right? So it's a game based on distance, and this box, which is the light colored box here, somewhere within this range is going to be the right distance for you to get that axe one rotation into the wood. You throw it much like you would any other implement, right? A football ball or whatever. You put your non-dominant foot forward, right? If you're right-handed, left foot. Opposite if you're left-handed, right? Taking an athletic position. So I'm right-handed, right foot forward. Bottom of the axe, put your hands on. 2 hands is how we have people start out with. Keeps better control on the axe. Keeps the axe straight. I like to throw with 1 hand. Bring the axe directly over your head, making sure the axe head is straight. And then bring it through and release right in front of your face, and it'll rotate on its own. 1 hand is the same premise, but instead of over your head, kind of over your shoulder. And pull through, let it go.
Whoa!
And it sticks in that wood.
Nice shot.
Not quite bullseye.
That, I mean, I think for being under pressure, it's pretty impressive.
Thanks.
So, Michael, this place was kind of an
It's a grow shop.
right,
yeah.
grow shop. Okay, and then that's what I thought.
Horticulture supply shop.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to say that word, but obviously my awesome accent could not say it. So, and okay, so you're renting this place, and obviously it didn't look this great when you got it, I'm imagining.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about like the renovations you've had to do? Have you had to do any retrofitting, any like big construction, or was it pretty simple?
Right. It was relatively simple. So, with every good idea comes a good business plan, and any successful business has a good business plan, and that's really where it started. Understanding what our capital investment would be right out the gate to facilitate what we wanted to do was a big understanding. Luckily, my wife and I have a background in that sort of a thing, and we were able to put that together. So basically, coming up with a floor plan, understanding what was here existing, and then how we had to adapt that to fit this unique venture. It was a big lift. Luckily, we had some of the basics already done. And for any public business, accessibility is a big issue, right? How a patron would come into the place and then use your facility under ADA guidelines and state and federal law. Luckily, these restrooms that are right over here were ADA compliant, already built for the previous business, and our entrances and other places or other uses were already kind of set up. So that was a big step 1. And then you can see, generally it's pretty simple. Much like a bowling alley just has lanes, that's all we got.
Was this a box when you got it? Like there was nothing in here? Was there walls you had to take down? Or?
Yeah, there were some walls we had to take down.
Okay.
Like over in this lane here, in this storage was an office.
Okay.
An office get up, and then they had a point of sale kind of over here, so that we had to demo all of that. And then back here where you see behind you, this was a warehouse. And you can see kind of the warehouse scars on the floor there. And
so this is where they were keeping their extra supplies, basically?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a roll-up door behind all that wood on the left side there. That's, we just had to do some creative adaptive reuse of this space. And
so am I mistaken that in all, like when it comes to axe throwing, like construction is fairly simple? Like we're not talking anything too complex here?
Right. I mean, structurally speaking, we're building within a shell, and the building is the shell, and
right.
Everything we're building is independent of that shell. So largely, if you have some carpentry experience, right, this is something that you can definitely put together.
Someone that asked if you did it in-house or at a contractor.
We built everything in here.
Okay, so no contractor to do anything.
No contractor to do any of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Because I know about this, I'm going to ask you really quick. Like, I know there was some issues with the noise at one point, and neighbors. Do you mind talking about that? Because I think it's actually really interesting how you adapted to that, and obviously wanting to be a good business owner / neighbor, community member.
Absolutely, and it's something that we needed the square footage. We knew where we wanted to be relative to our market, right? The people that we wanted to reach. We wanted to be in Arcata, be in this college town.
Right.
There's very limited, spaces that have the square footage like this, right? Each one of these lanes takes up almost, I think about 100 square feet. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of square footage to dedicate just to one function. And to have 8 of those in this facility, you need to be pretty big. So that really narrowed what we were looking for. We needed something around 5,000 square feet, and to find that availability in Arcata near, the goat paths of the Arcata Plaza and how people would go from the university or where the general living areas are. Like we knew where we wanted to be. So we ended up here. And the unique spot about this is that we're commercial. Our property is zoned commercial, so this is approved use. But we're surrounded in part by residents, right? We're backed up into residential parcels. So yeah, there's a trick to that. And we try to be as best neighbors as we can. We've restricted our hours to be fairly early. We close at 9 o'clock sharp, no more throwing at 9 o'clock. And we're just trying to do the best that we can on that front. Now, obviously complaints will come, but mostly right now I think we've gotten to a point where a complaint would be filed by somebody who, may have been drinking beer and is on their way home, right? Away from our place or something like that.
Right.
I think we're really trying to navigate away from this being the complaint.
So you're closing at 9, or are you stopping the axe throwing, but you're allowing like people to stick around for a little bit longer and not be hammering the walls, basically?
Yeah, we're not kicking people out, but generally when they stop throwing, if they brought food or something, they'll finish that up, and we're usually out of here by 10 o'clock at the latest.
Okay.
Yeah, after cleaning and everything. Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to make a segue here because you talked about bringing food. So I think one of the things that's really unique about your facility is that you allow people to hold events here, people to bring their own food. I mean, you do have like alcohol and like munchies, I think, but nothing too crazy, right? So you're not like a food vendor. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, is there any specific or any special restrictions to that? Like, do you need a permit, or is it like, hey, because people bring their own food, it's fairly easy?
So, to go forward, I'll have to go back. So what happens, we knew we wanted to be an all-ages venue. We also knew that we wanted to serve alcohol, because that's what we saw this happen in San Diego. They weren't serving alcohol at the axe throwing venue, but it was right next door, and there was a symbiotic relationship there. But we knew we wanted to be all ages. We knew we wanted to serve alcohol. So what that required is a certain kind of permit where it's beer only to be all ages, but it's beer only with a snack. So we offer what we have to offer for that beer license, so we can have beer and all ages.
So the snack you need to have snacks available.
We need to have snacks available. Exactly.
Okay.
That's kind of part of the permit.
All right.
That's one step below, which would be the next step, is a full-on kitchen.
Got it.
Providing food and a menu.
Right.
And at that point, we'd be able to offer spirits.
So if someone wants to come and have an event here, is there a fee for the event, or is it just about throwing?
Depends if you're taking the whole venue or if you're just taking like the back room.
Right.
It's mostly by lane, and our prices are pretty straightforward. It's $50 for an hour for a group. That's 4 to 6 people. And that's one lane. So if you were to expand that, it's just the math behind it.
Okay. I did have some students curious about pricing in terms of like any student discount or which I'm imagining as a private business you probably don't have, but discount for maybe folks that can't afford the price.
Right. Well, another big part of our business plan was adjusting our price points to be respective of our community.
Okay.
Doing the same thing, I just said $50 for a group on a lane. The same thing in San Diego is almost $75
Right.
Down there. So I think that we've right-sized it. When you start talking about what we think we can afford up here, we are a rural community that is defined as,
Right.
a lower income kind of community. But that being said, we don't have programs that would support somebody who may not be able to afford it, but we do offer discounts for a number of different folks, students included, first responders, and that's all the time.
Great. Awesome. All right, folks. So we're actually outside the building. Like I was taking a shot earlier of the door. So this is kind of like the side door. Just want to give you a little view of kind of the back patio where you can come and hang out. There's some picnic tables here, right? And this used to be a parking, and you guys decided to make it into kind of an outdoor seating venue.
Yeah.
Okay. And that closes completely?
It does, yeah. That closes completely to the street.
And this is your response to COVID, you were saying?
It's part of it, that's right. Yeah, so COVID kind of pushed us to create an outdoor area, getting people outside of the facility. Obviously, with the new science, we understand that COVID is airborne, and ensuring that we reduce risk by putting less population inside and then out here, this made good sense. We already had the space. It's not that much investment to make it suitable for use, so we decided to capture it.
Nice. So, I mean, I think that's a great like kind of use of like a space you already had, and I'm also curious, like, so you're talking about indoor, like, with reopening, did you have to submit a plan to the county in terms of what it was going to look like?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely, yeah,
okay.
yeah. We went through the county, the city, and put forward a plan that we reopened once before in July.
Okay.
For 12 days in total. Then we had to shut down again. So we had the basis of a plan and understanding what we would do. So it was pretty seamless here when we opened up in.
Was the first shutdown mandated? I
Yeah.
know the one until July was mandated by the county. Then you reopen, and then they shut you down again.
We reopened in July. So in March we shut down mandatory.
Right.
They allowed us to reopen in July. Then the state put out blanket orders that these functions need to shut down. So we went back in the shutdown, even though our county wasn't
Right.
showing
Okay. Remember
the same
that
kind
now.
of issues.
Right.
So then with the recent state orders and the color coding system for levels of risk for different counties, that allowed us to be in orange. It was. Now we're in yellow.
Right.
And we were able to open underneath those guidelines. Yeah.
Okay. So, beside like the mask, the social distancing, what are some other things that you've had to change inside?
Yeah, so we went completely contactless. Our payment methods, our waiver forms. When you come into the facility, we have a specific way that we have you queue and wait for your lane or go straight to your lane.
Okay.
Beers, we've transitioned mostly to recyclable bottles and cans.
Oh, instead of glasses?
Instead of glasses,
Right.
just because the touch point's there, right?
Yep.
We do still have something on tap, but we do disposable. But we only kept one beer on tap because the disposable cups is just rough. I don't really like it.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's hard and it's environmentally taxing. So,
Right.
Everyone's required to wear a mask when they enter. When you go to your lane, you're allowed to take down your mask when you're in basically your bubble,
Oh.
right? They are 12 feet apart from one another to each group. We try to promote airflow through the space with fans and other handling. So that's about as best we can do.
All right. Awesome.
From now
All right,
on.
so we're at the bar area, and actually, you guys have a little merchandise area as well, and you're selling some axes.
Absolutely. Yeah, these are
Nice.
the proper implements. We give you axes, but those ones are designed for axe throwing in particular.
The hoodies, obviously, they make you a better thrower.
The hoodies make you better thrower. That's right. You gotta be sporting. I'm not sporting the axe house stuff. But.
So, can you tell us a little bit about like this idea of managing a facility with alcohol? Like, I think obviously, well, it's not necessarily the alcohol per se, but there's definitely a lot of questions about how do you manage a facility that has potentially something that is a dangerous sport, right? Versus the idea of alcohol, which might inebriate people.
Right. Yeah, well, there again, it just stresses the importance of safety, right, and the interrelation between the two. And we do have drink counts when you are engaged in throwing, and then after that, if you're just in the facility not throwing, it's the discretion of the bartender as it would be anywhere else.
Okay, like if you're tripping over yourself or things
Exactly,
like that.
exactly, and it happens, right? And you have to be prepared for those kinds of conversations,
Right.
And how to take care of that.
I just gotta ask, what's the drink count? Like how much, like you have a number, you're like, after 3, you can't throw anymore.
Yeah, we're during an hour session, we'll serve you 3 drinks.
Okay, nice, all right. Let's talk about insurance also, because that's definitely a question that students have had. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about like how hard it is to get insurance for a facility like this?
Yeah, well, luckily WATL is affiliated with an axe throwing insurance carrier.
Got it.
They're actually called axe throwing insurance.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're a niche market.
And that's all they do.
That's all they do underneath that LLC.
Okay.
They also do like escape rooms and like haunted houses, like very niche
Oh wow, that
kinds
isn't.
of coverage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and they're partnered with an underwriter. An underwriter basically secures the insurance. A very reputable underwriter. So largely our insurance costs and liabilities are similar to that of any kind of
Any other-
entertainment facility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right, so not that difficult to get, right? And I think from what you said in the past, someone had to be the first one to do it, and then after that, it kind of, realizing that it's not as unsafe as potentially.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, with the safety protocols and really the social pressure to not have accidents in your house, because this is a new and budgeting, niche activity. You've seen I'm sure you may have seen some of the viral videos of folks messing up, right?
No, I try not to watch that
yeah,
stuff.
well, there's only a handful, and there's only a handful because it's so important that social media not reflect some of those instances. So that every axe house is just super, strict about their rules. And
that is such a good point. I think that managing anything that's risky, and I'm going to make attention here for the students when it comes to like outdoor adventure sports, for example, we do everything with like really high risk management procedures because we don't want to be that program,
That's right.
that activity. Frankly, if we think about HSU, right, we don't want to be the college that is tagged with the program that had a death or that had.
You don't want to mess it up for anybody else.
Oh yeah, and plus it's the entire industry that ends up hurting.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Cool. Hey folks, so we moved outside because actually there's people throwing axes, which is noisy. And I do have another question for Michael, which is, you guys have asked actually about sustainability in the wood. So tell us a bit about it because, I know I've seen it before when I was here. You obviously have to change the lanes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we do go through a lot of wood. We go through 2x12 wood, and it's cut at 4-foot lengths. And we'll change a center board probably 2 or 3 times a week on each one of our 8 lanes. So yeah, we go through a lot of wood, but I'm happy to say that all the wood that we do chew up, we put it in a pile in the back, and then we put it on Craigslist for burning fuel, and people come and pick it up, and they bring it to their homes, and they use it for fuel.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty. I feel pretty good that it's not going to, complete waste. It's actually being used as it may be intended in some other way.
And so equipment wise, like how does someone purchase wood for axe throwing? Like, do you go to like the mill yard or?
That's right. We go to the mill yard, they cut it for us, they put it on a pallet, and they put it in our truck and bring it here.
All right. Discounts, quantity discount?
Fortunately, no. It's ridiculously expensive.
Oh, is it?
Wood right now is.
And I think you mentioned what kind of wood it was, right? It's.
It's all Doug fir wood.
Oh, it's all okay.
Yeah, kind of run of the mill stud wood.
Okay, is that like the cheapest kind of wood that exists for?
Yeah, pine might be a little bit. Doug fir is a very common species that's used in framing.
Okay, so yeah, you need something that axe is actually gonna go through and.
Yeah. Some axe houses use specialty wood. There's a species called cottonwood. Getting down a rabbit hole here, but cottonwood actually is like it's almost like cork. So it.
Yeah, cottonwood's wood gives us allergies.
Is that right?
Yeah, it has that white fuzzy thing.
Oh, is that?
It's awful in Colorado. Just like Colorado, Utah, awful allergies. Yes.
Anyways, it kind of self-heals a little bit, so it lasts longer on your throwing.
Okay.
But we don't.
All right, final question because I'm thinking about it, and you obviously are not always here. What kind of training do you give your employees?
Training is ever changing, right? As we keep building this business, we experience new things. So we definitely check in once a week with our employees as a whole, and we just have a debrief. What are you guys seeing out there? What do we need to improve? And we also give some pats on the back, like we had a big tip night. That was because we serviced a big party and we did a really good job. Or we've seen some comments and feedbacks, but that relationship with the employees is super important. But to your point, training, COVID's been crazy. And we're in a whole new environment, so how do you train your staff to do that? Well, you're running through them, and there's always somebody here who's responsible in the management role.
Is anyone trained in like first aid or handling physical injuries? 911.
Yes. So both Lauren and I, the owners, we are both trained in that from our other job. She's a teacher, and one of our axe throwers is a former EMT.
Oh.
That was a bonus, wasn't planned, but general first aid, like a cut or common sense prevails with the combination of the expertise that we do have in house. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Oh, and you've had no significant injuries, correct?
We've had no significant injuries,
and we are going to keep it like that.
That's right. Besides the errant thorn or something or splinter.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
All All right, folks, we're in the front of the building, and frankly, I just thought like the front door was a good place to ask Michael about actually his other role in life, which is totally related to facility management.
It is.
So, can you tell us what you do when you're not throwing axes?
Yeah. Well, when I'm not throwing axes, we have 2 little kids at home and a pretty busy family. But besides that, even, I'm the Associate Vice President for Facilities Management.
Okay.
That's new, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, that title sounds Associate Vice President for Facility Management.
Yes.
Okay. Is that a new title or that's a promotion?
It's a promotion.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
So if I need like an extra key, I should come see you, right?
You should put in a key request. You know that.
There is a procedure. Okay,
Yeah.
so what does your job mean? Like, what do you do?
Yeah. So, all things facilities management, the buck stops there, right, with the AVP of facilities management. Any kind of issues that might be arising from facilities or long-term planning or space use, planning around our physical environment with all the different planning groups that are on campus. It's multifaceted. It's really an interesting job. It brings you all over campus, and you get to learn, what they're doing with the cadavers. You get to learn what they're doing with the spectrometers. You get to learn everything across the board, right? And it's pretty cool. It's also a very large job, and facilities, obviously 5,000 square feet that we were discussing here is so much different from, almost 2.3 million square feet up there at the university.
Do you think that your job at the university, sorry, hopefully you guys can hear this. Do you think your job at the university has helped you with opening this facility and managing this facility?
Without a doubt. If there's one thing, that is a takeaway from this video or from my answer to your question, it's, your education and your pursuit to find the answer of something you don't know is the key, right? I didn't know how to open up an axe bar a year ago, but I did research. You look it up, you find the resource, and you find that path of how to get from point A to point B, and you do that on your own, right? And if you do that pursuit of education, you will break down the barriers that stop you from implementing your idea.
That's very well said. What's your degree in?
Psychology.
Okay, that's what I thought. So you have a bachelor's degree in psychology?
I have a bachelor in psychology and a bachelor in business, and a
bachelor's in business.
And a master's in business.
And a master's in business. Okay, you're an HSU alumni.
I am an HSU alumni. Yes.
Your 3 degrees?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so you came here, never left, and then opened up the.
Came here, never left.
In the axe throwing or Hatchet house.
I'm from San Diego.
Okay.
And couldn't be more worlds apart, and it's fantastic.
Nice. All right, awesome. So let's see. Any parting or anything else you think we should know about the Hatchet house right now?
Come down and have a good time. That's what we're here for. We are open, and we love seeing students here in the life. So
Nice.
Please come visit us.
All right.